Barcelona have tied against Granada 2-2. Barcelona could not do enough in the last 10 to 15 minutes, but Barcelona did score a goal that could have allowed Barcelona to get the full 3 points. Yes, it's true that Barcelona in the beginning did not do their job well. We can all agree to that. Barcelona defensively do need to get better, much better. We need to have more self-accountability, but it is almost impossible to receive the points that we should be receiving when you know that the league is completely rigged. I'm going to be talking about Barcelona's own game later in this video, but I do want to talk about the play that seems very controversial right now and really just add more clarity on this play, because again, I want to get this out the way before I talk about Barcelona itself, because I think that the most important thing is to have self-evaluation, is to have our players improve, our collective performances also improve. That is the number one thing before any of this. But I want to get again this play out the way. So we saw Barcelona on a 2-2 tie against Granada. It was very tense, very frustrating, because Barcelona were looking for the third goal and we needed the 3 points. We did not want to go into the international break only winning 1 point against Granada. So apparently in the last 5 minutes, Barcelona found a solution. João made a cross into the box. You can see players like Ferran Torres, Gundogan, Alejandro Balde, and João Felix lined up inside the box ready to receive that cross from João Cancelo. And so as the ball does go into the box, one of the players that slightly jumped up was Ferran Torres, not interfering with play. And the player that did receive the ball was João Felix, who was not offside but onside and put the ball into the net. A couple of seconds later, the ref said, this is not a goal. Barcelona do have a goal offside, and that is because Ferran Torres is offside. But the thing is that Ferran Torres was not even interfering with play, and that was the biggest key point that the ref wanted to put out, and the VAR wanted to also put out, is that because Ferran Torres was interfering with play, we're going to count that player as the offside. That is the reason why Barcelona's third goal was ruled off. It wasn't because of João Felix and his great positioning. That was onside, but because Ferran Torres slightly jumped, that was the play that happened first, and he interfered with the goalkeeper, potentially trying to block the shot. That is the reason why Barcelona could not get the third goal. That is how they justified it, and to us, that seems almost ridiculous. You want to know why that sounds very ridiculous right now? Is because Real Madrid were in a very similar situation. Yes, it's true, like always. Real Madrid end up being almost in the exact same situation, but the difference is that Real Madrid do get the goal. Barcelona do not. For example, let's go into this play here with Joselu getting his goal against Getafe. You can see that Joselu is offside. Modric receives the ball. He crosses the ball into the box. Joselu is still offside, and then he jumps into the air, interfering with the play, very similar to Ferran Torres. He distracts De Gene, and he almost even touches the ball. The ball hits the other players of Getafe, and then Joselu ends up scoring the goal. And to the VAR, and to the league, and to the refs, and to everybody there, they said, this is a goal for Real Madrid. Real Madrid win this game, and they get the full 3 points. If this was Barcelona in the exact same situation, to just add the Barcelona players into this play and add the red and blue shirt, this would have been offside. Just look at this play here that we just seen between Barcelona and Granada. Almost the exact same predicament, but the only difference is that Barcelona's goal was ruled offside, while Real Madrid, it was not. And Joselu was much closer to the ball, much more interfering with the play. But with Ferran Torres, you want to say that's offside? Really? I understand if these rules are in place. I would understand and say, okay, fine. This rule was in place and this was offside, right? That's just the basic rules of this league and nothing more. We probably would have never said anything. But when you see these rules not being applied to a different team, and especially a team like Real Madrid, that is when we do come in as Barcelona fans and say, okay, this is a rigged league. This is a league that does get paid by a certain club, and that is Real Madrid. This is the Florentino league, and that is why it is so hard for Barcelona to win La Liga. It should be much easier than this. I'm not saying that it should be easy, but it should be much easier than this. Barcelona deserves to be in a different position in the league, but because the refs and the VAR are favoriting Real Madrid this season, that is why Barcelona are suffering so much and why we're getting less points than what we're actually supposed to get. Now you may say, Kevin, you're only complaining, Barcelona deserve to tie. Well, look, like I've said, if you're gonna be counting these rules, right, and I understand, right, if these rules apply to everybody, we would not even be talking about this situation. We probably would have just said, okay, Barcelona had that goal ruled offside and nothing more, because it does apply to everybody. But in this situation right now, it's not counting towards everybody. This rule is not counting to Real Madrid. Let this count for all and everybody would be at peace. And so it is just embarrassing. It's not embarrassing for just Barcelona, but it's embarrassing for this league. What type of league are we building here? What type of league has Javier Tebas built? And what's crazy from all of this, right, and we talked about this before, is that we're being sent to court. João Laporta has to go to court because supposedly Barcelona has paid the refs in the past 7 to 8 years to favor us. But then you see plays like this and you're like, okay, what is going on here? Where everything just seems like the complete reverse. It seems like Real Madrid are putting the payments under the table for the league. And so Xavi also had a few few words to say about this whole situation, and this is what Xavi said. It seems like Ferran Torres interferes in the play, but we don't know with who. Who is he interfering with? It's not clear to me. And that is the main thing, right? It's like, who is Ferran Torres interfering with? Like, is it the goalkeeper? They're like 7 to 8 feet apart. Was it one of the defenders of Granada? Because I don't see Ferran Torres doing anything. Like, do you want Ferran Torres to like stay completely still and stiff and not do nothing while the ball's going inside the box? Is that how you want the players to be? Of course the players are going to be making a slight movement. That is just another thing why I don't really understand this rule. Like, what is this? Like, why can a player move during a play like this? And so before I get into the overall collective performance of Barcelona, I also want to shout out Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal became the youngest goal scorer for Barcelona and La Liga in its history. Lamine Yamal was able to score the 2-1. He scored an amazing goal. I wouldn't say a very lucky goal because he was in the correct position at the correct time, and that is how he was able to score the goal. So congratulations towards Lamine Yamal. What a phenomenal player, what a player he is becoming, and I hope that he just continues to get protected because we want this player to be a generational player, but he needs to be taught well, he needs to be protected well, he needs to be under the right coach, under the right system, his minutes needs to be very well managed and not overuse the player. But Lamine Yamal is definitely going to be a player that will be in the first team moving forward. I just don't see Lamine Yamal ever going back into Barcelona B or anything of that nature. He is for sure a first team player at the age of just 16 years old. Congratulations, my friend. I'm happy for you and I hope you do great things for Barcelona in its future. So moving away from that, right, so let's talk about Barcelona's collective performance. And I want to say this thing first. In the previous season, in the first 30 matches that Barcelona have played, which was the 2022-2023 season, they have only allowed 9 goals in 30 matches. In this season though, within Barcelona's first 9 matches, they have allowed 10 goals. Isn't that crazy? For Barcelona in the previous season, only allowing 9 goals in 30 matches, and in this season, we're allowing 10 goals in 9 matches. It goes to show that Barcelona's defense is not the same. And this is what I mean, right? Like in that previous video that I made, this is exactly what I mean. Like, of course, it's going to be much more entertaining and much more intense when you see Barcelona allowing more goals, right? Because people supposedly want to sacrifice the defense only for Barcelona to score more goals. Like, yeah, like look how that's turning out. I told you guys, right? I told you guys that Barcelona defensively, they need to add much more emphasis towards securing that back line. We need to be much better defensively. Like, how are we going to allow Granada to score on us in the first 20 seconds? We broke a record that went against us. How embarrassing is that? And so if we locked Granada down from the beginning and we defended well from the beginning, none of these things that we have been talking about in the past 10 to 15 minutes wouldn't even matter because it wouldn't even happen in the first place. Barcelona just needs to get better. I think that the formation has to change. The player selection also has to change. Yes, João Cancelo is a phenomenal signing. And yes, he can bring in great attacking qualities. We saw what he brought against Granada and how he made that cross into the box that could have led towards the 3rd goal of Barcelona. But that would have never happened and João Cancelo's cross would have never been needed if only Barcelona were locked down defensively. I still believe that the best defense that Barcelona could put out, it is Jules Koundé on the right back position, Christensen and Araujo as a center back duo, and Alejandro Balde as the left back. That is the best defense and I stand by that. Even if you guys do say that we need João Cancelo because of his attacking qualities, like yes, it's nice. I like it. I like what he brings offensively. But if it's going to come to a cost of Barcelona conceding a lot of goals, that's not going to take Barcelona far. I have already said that if Barcelona allow a lot of goals in and they also score a lot of goals, we're just going to end up like Brighton, a team that does not even compete for the Premier League or is even in the Champions League. And many people were also debating against me saying that, but Kevin, you're wrong. Araujo and Koundé's individual defensive displays are going to cover us in the back line. But I'm like, that can only take us so far. Like you really think that Araujo and Koundé can just defend every player that they do face in every team, in every game for the rest of this season? 100%? Like, you don't think they're going to make not a single mistake? You don't think that Barcelona are not suffering at the back? Like today, in today's game against Granada, it showed. Look at how Koundé was beaten by one of the players in the 2nd goal. Xavi again once allowed Koundé to defend against one player on a 1v1, but this time Koundé failed, and that is going to happen. And sometimes that goal could be definitive for the opposition and would eventually allow for Barcelona to lose the game or tie the game. We cannot continue to do that. We cannot allow to see the opposition see all of these open spaces in our defensive line and we just concede goals and they go on the counter. We have seen that happen way too many times in the first 10 matches. This has to be fixed as soon as possible. The moment we get back into international break, I never want to see a 2-man backline. I never want to see that. I want to see Koundé, Araujo, and Christensen at the back, a 3-man defensive line. Yes, again, I understand what happens in the front. I understand that the attacking quality does reduce by a lot. But if it's going to lead towards Barcelona winning 1-0 or winning 2-0 or something of that nature, that's okay. We took those 1-0 wins in the previous season for granted. We thought that that was not enough, but that was something to build on top of, not to completely erase that, scratch that off and just say, okay, we're not going to be winning 1-0. We're going to be winning 3-2. We're going to be winning 4-3. We're going to be changing the formation because we need to score more goals. goals. No, that's just not the way. Or else we're going to go up against Athletic Club in the next match, score 3 goals, but only for Athletic Club to score either 2 goals or 3 goals, and we tied the match or we barely won that match, and that's not good. That's really not good. And so let's see how Barcelona do end up playing once we do return from international break. Jules Koundé has encountered an injury. He had to get off very early. Araujo had to come in, and thanks to Araujo, who had a great defensive display, he stopped a lot of the counterattacks that were going to be built by Granada, and that allowed Barcelona to gain a lot of possession in the last 20 minutes, and that is why we dominated the game in the last 20 minutes. Even though we saw some mistakes still in the back line, Araujo was playing a humongous game. But to see Jules Koundé get injured, who is probably one of our best center backs as of right now, it just sucks because now he joins the list of Frenkie de Jong, Pedri, Rafinha, Lewandowski, and we need all of these players back. Hopefully by the time we do return, we can have Frenkie, Pedri, and Koundé back, because I also heard that Koundé's injury is not that serious, and with Pedri and Frenkie almost being close to doing their time for their injuries, I hope that those 3 players specifically, Pedri, Frenkie, and Koundé, return as soon as possible. And for the match against Athletic Club, we need a miracle, because those 3 players is what's going to allow us to go back into the previous formation that we had before, the 3-2-2-3 or the 3-4-3, whatever you do want to call it. Barcelona also stand in 3rd place in La Liga, with Girona in 2nd place. Real Madrid is in 1st, and we are 3 points behind Real Madrid at the moment from 1st place. And so it's very much doable. We can still go into 1st place. We just have to play very superior football. Barcelona have the capacity to do that. We have the players. We know what we need to do. We just have to play at our absolute maximum, at our best, and we need to play with alertness, with enthusiasm, with determination. We need more intensity. We need more urgency. We need more of everything. So that is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.